Y'all think you know country music? You might not know this. Part 65. This is Billy Ed Wheeler. In 1964, he had a Billboard hit with Ode to the Little Brown Shack Out Back.
Rest like a snowbird on his nest and read the Sears and Roebuck catalog.
And then he really didn't have much more success as an artist, but as a songwriter, whole different story. He wrote all kinds of songs. One of them won a Grammy for Johnny and June Carter Cash, a little song called Jackson. Well, this is Roger Bolin. He was born in Helton, Kentucky. He was also a songwriter. 1977, him and Hal Bynum wrote probably the biggest song of the year. Actually, it won a Grammy for Song of the Year for Kenny Rogers, called Lucille. A couple of years later, in 1979, Coward of the County came out. Coward of the County was written by Roger Bolin and Billy Ed Wheeler. Now, it's been said that Roger was driving around a mountain road humming this chorus he called The Promise, kind of story about a son's pledge to his father. So they got together, they wrote this song about 3 different times with Kenny Rogers in mind. Of course, Coward of the County was recorded by Kenny Rogers and was a huge hit and a crossover pop hit also. But there's something interesting in there. There was some very interesting decisions made to describe the rapists in this song. The Gatlin boys, and there were 3 of them. I don't know who in their right mind knew anything about country music when this song came out in '79 that did not immediately think of Larry, Steve, and Rudy Gatlin. In fact, it caused a lot of grief for Larry Gatlin and the boys. And Larry was not happy at all about this. He and Kenny Rogers were friends. Kenny always maintained that he didn't think anything about this connection, which is a little odd to me. But let's go back a little bit now. The 2 songwriters, Billy Ed Wheeler, Roger Bolin. Anytime they were asked if there was a connection to Larry, Steve, and Rudy in this song, they immediately denied it. They said, no, Gatlin sang better and it sounded more gritty, whatever that means. And that's all it was. Yeah, I kind of call bullshit on this one. But a few years ago, Larry Gatlin was on the Corolla show. I ain't going to include the clip here. I don't want the video to get muted. But go look it up if you don't believe me. Larry Gatlin says that at the 1977 CMA Awards show at the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville, he was nominated for All the Gold in California. Kenny Rogers was nominated for Lucille, for Song of the Year. Ultimately, Lucille won Song of the Year in 1977. And backstage, Larry says when he went up to congratulate one of the songwriters, Roger Bolin immediately said, F you, Gatlin. And then there was some harsh words and some threats made. And Larry claimed he had no idea why. Now, this was 2 years before Coward of the County was released and probably hadn't been written yet. And before one of the co-writers for Coward of the County passed, Mr. Billy Ed Wheeler. He did an interview suggesting that this might have been a personal vendetta against Larry Gatlin because this man, Larry Butler, was Kenny Rogers' producer. And there was an altercation between Larry Gatlin and Mr. Wheeler said Larry Gatlin came into Larry Butler's office one day and Roger Bolin was there. And then Larry Butler proceeds to introduce Roger Bolin to Larry Gatlin by saying, Larry, I'm sure you know Roger Bolin. To which Larry Gatlin then says, no, but I'm sure he knows me. When Roger Bolin says, Gatlin, is your family in guns? And then this apparently pissed Larry Gatlin off. I've known Larry Gatlin for many years. He's been nothing but nice and helpful to me. During the late 70s and early 80s, even he admits he was kind of out of his mind at times. This is no big secret. I'm sure he regrets a lot of that. Now, does he even remember if this altercation happened in Larry Butler's office? No, probably not. Now, Billy Ed Wheeler says it did happen. And if that's all not enough, the girl that got raped in Coward of the County's name was Becky. Larry Gatlin had this song, Sweet Becky Walker.
Just to love Becky Walker.
Which Larry wrote about his ex-girlfriend from when he was a young boy. I'd like to know y'all's thoughts on this. What do y'all think? I think old Roger was damn determined to make the 3 Gatlin boys the bad guys. Kind of an interesting little story. As always, appreciate y'all. Thank you for all the views the videos are getting. I'm so happy that y'all are so into this stuff like I am. I honestly had no idea that so many of y'all cared about the behind the scenes of country music and the songwriting, the stories about all the people we grew up loving. But I'm so glad that y'all do. Thank y'all. Don't forget to follow and reshare to get these videos out there even more. Appreciate y'all so much. I'll see you on the next one.